Do you need an attorney, but you just have no idea where to start? If you're searching for an attorney, chances are you're probably going through an extremely stressful time in your life and you're dealing with a problem that you can't solve on your own. So it's understandable that you would want to make sure that you make the right decision. My name is Ashley Lansdowne. I'm a criminal defense attorney. Welcome to part one of my series, So You Need a Lawyer, Where to Start. This is a highly requested topic from many different people. Is just, how do I find an attorney? What are some red flags that I should look for when interviewing attorneys? If you have any of those questions, I'm here to answer them today. So I'm going to kind of go through different red flags that I know of and that you should be looking for when you are searching for an attorney. The number one red flag for me is somebody who is judgmental or who is unkind to you. That is not okay. I can't tell you how many people I've consulted with that have told me, wow, thank you so much for being nice to me. And I'm always shocked by that. An attorney is supposed to be there for you in a time that's extremely stressful. You're supposed to be there, providing advice, but you're also a crucial support system to your clients. So that always confuses me when lawyers are not nice, especially to potential clients. So you definitely do not have to deal with that. If they're not nice to you in the first consultation when they're trying to gain your business, and they're not going to be nice to you going forward. You need somebody who's going to respect you, who's going to listen to you, and who's going to be on your side. You need someone who's realistic, but that doesn't mean that they need to be mean or condescending. So that's number one. Number two is somebody who is charging a fee that seems too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Uh, that's not to say that you need to go for the most expensive and outrageously priced attorney on the market, but if the fee seems too low, you need to question that a little bit further. You need to talk to more attorneys and see what the going rate is in the area. This person either might not know what they're doing, they might be too new for the type of case that you're wanting help with. You need to figure out why the rate is what it is. Number three, somebody who promises a certain result, especially on the first initial consultation. That is a red flag. Attorneys should never be promising you a result because there are so many variables going on. You have the court, you have the judge, you have potentially a jury if you're going to trial. There's a million things that can happen. You can't guarantee. You can say, I think you have a good chance, and that's part of the attorney's job when giving you advice is to let frankly, what your chances of winning are. And they can do that, but if they say, oh yeah, I know the judge, I got this, you're good to go, that's a red flag because none of us can do that, not even the most experienced attorney. So that's a red flag. Next is somebody who does not have a good reputation in the community. So if other lawyers can't vouch for this attorney, or if it seems like they're not respected amongst their peers, that's a red flag. The legal world is small, and it really, really matters what your reputation is. If judges don't respect you or know you as somebody that does not follow ethical rules, or just somebody who does shady deals, or that's not good. You want somebody who says, oh my gosh, I know I worked with her on this one case and she was so great. She was easy to work with, very, upfront and honest. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who is respected amongst their peers. That's important. Next one is somebody who has either no online presence at all or who has consistently bad reviews. Of course, there's always going to be the person who wasn't happy with their representation who writes a bad review because the case was lost or something like that. That's not too much of a worry because every lawyer is going to lose cases. It's just the way it is. However, if you're seeing reviews that come up again and again saying the same thing, like I called the lawyer, they never called me back, or they were making decisions without consulting me, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. And somebody who has no online presence, it's 2021. A person needs to have at least a little bit of a presence. If they don't even have a website, that's a red flag. You can make that on your own. You don't even need to hire somebody to do that. So if they haven't spent the time to make a website, I would steer clear of that. All right, next one. Somebody who is going to just hand off your case to an associate. I know that can be something that would be difficult to pick up in, say, an initial consultation. But if you're in a consult and you're wondering, who's going to be the main person that's going to be handling my case, especially if it's a larger firm with more than one attorney, you need to ask. You need to say, can I expect that you'll be the point of contact for me? Will you be the one that's mostly handling my case? Will you be making court appearances? Will you be writing, motions? Will you be the one who calls me back? I mean, a lot of attorneys do have support staff, which is totally fine, but you want to make sure that the attorney that you want to work with is going to be the one who's actually working on your case. Because a lot of times that doesn't happen. The initial consult goes to whoever the senior partner is because they know how to deal with clients and they're impressive. Maybe they're more experienced, older, and then they pass it off to a junior associate, which is not to say that that associate won't do a good job, but you just need to know what's going to happen so that you can decide what's best for you. So that's something to look out for. Once again, just communication. Somebody who is not calling you back, especially when you're just trying to schedule a consult, that's a red flag. Communication is everything when it comes to picking a good attorney. You need to know that your call is going to be returned. And that's one other thing. When I work with clients, I can't tell you the amount of people who have told me, thank you so much. You're the only attorney I've ever worked with that actually responds to my emails and calls me back. And I've called, this other attorney that I heard years ago for this case, and it's been months. I haven't heard a word. That's bordering on unethical at that point. Attorneys do take an oath. They are bound to pretty strict ethical constraints when it comes to clients, and you are supposed to keep in good contact, good communication with your clients. That's a part of providing good representation. You need to know that you can reach out to that attorney at any point and be able to get a case update. And that's another thing to look out for when you're signing your retainer. Make sure you ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask the attorney, how often can I expect to hear from you? If you file a motion, will you forward it to me? Which they should be doing anyway, but they need to let you know exactly what the communication is going to be and the means. So is email better? Is phone better? What days and times are better? That's something that you need to make sure that they understand. I need to know what's going on with my case. And if I call you, I expect to hear back within this amount of time, and then they can manage expectations with you. All right, the next one is missing meetings, calls, deadlines, and being late. That's a no-no. The legal world is still very strict. You cannot be late for court. You cannot file things late. Of course, things happen, but generally it's not acceptable at all. If you miss a deadline, that could get you disbarred or suspended. It's a huge deal. You're not to be late. I've never been late for a client meeting. I've never been late to court. I've never filed something late. It's just not a thing. It's not acceptable. So somebody who can't show up on time, say you schedule a consult with them and they're not on time and they didn't, either provide you a reason, or if it's becoming a pattern, that's going to be how they are with your case. They're going to miss a deadline, which in the legal world could mean that your case is dismissed. That's how serious it is. So that's a no-no. If the lawyer's office is filled floor to ceiling with client files and the names are visible when you go into their office to meet with them, no, that is a no-no. Once again, lawyers are bound by strict confidentiality rules. So they are not to tell anyone who they're representing, what it's for, anything like that. That's strictly attorney-client privilege. So if you go into the office and you can see people's papers all over and it's all disorganized, that's going to be your file if you hire them. So unless you want the world knowing your business, it's a no-no. If they have unhappy staff or rude staff, that's usually an indication that they don't treat their staff well. So that's not a good sign. If their staff are consistently unhappy, snippy, they might be overworked, they might not be treated well, and that's not an office that you want your case being handled by. So I would look out for that too. If they're not up to date on current laws, you ask them a question and they don't seem able to answer when it should be something relatively simple or within their practice area, and they're also not willing or not able to look it up or get back to you on it, that's not good. As lawyers, we are required to do continuing legal education, and we are responsible for knowing what's going on. The laws change all the time, and we have to keep up with it. So if you know more about a certain law or something than them, you say, oh, didn't that change last year? And they don't know. No. Also, this is especially important for if you're looking for a criminal defense attorney, which is what I do. If you meet with an attorney the first time and they are very aggressive with you and use scare tactics to try to get you to hire them, especially on the spot, and sign a contract right then and there, that's not a good sign. That's probably a bad sign for the future as well. If they're bullying you now and saying, if you don't hire me, you might go away for this many years, that may be true. However, it's not appropriate to bully somebody into hiring you, especially at a first meeting. A first meeting is really just to get to know what the legal issue is, to see if you can even help the person, and then to kind of provide a roadmap for them and a general idea of how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. That's it. Basically, you're seeing if you get along with them, and if they like you and you like them, and it's going to work. If they're saying, you need to sign today, you don't need to talk to anyone else, that's not it. I always encourage people to talk to as many lawyers as they need to feel comfortable. I'm confident in what I can provide for people, and so I'm not intimidated when people say that they, are looking around. I would never purchase a service or a product without looking around and making sure that that was the right product for me. So I don't take offense when other people do that, and they shouldn't either. This is especially important because a lot of times, if that attorney has that kind of personality, down the line, say when a plea deal comes up, they're going to bully you for that as well. And if they don't want to go to trial, or they think you shouldn't go to trial, they are going to pressure you into making a certain decision, and it may not be the best decision for you. So you don't want somebody too aggressive. You want somebody confident and able to advocate for you, but not a bully. And the last but not least, is somebody who is vague or unclear about their billing or their invoices. That's not good. Obviously, hiring a lawyer is not a cheap thing. So you're really making an investment here. And I'm always mindful of that. I always say, I understand it's not cheap, especially when you're talking about going to a trial. It's going to be thousands of dollars. So you need to be absolutely clear about what you're paying for and exactly what you're going to get in return. And that should be all laid out. There should be no hidden fees. You shouldn't be getting, oh, yeah, I need another $500 for what? No, unless it's a detailed invoice that tells you exactly what's going on, that's not for you. You need to know, basically what you're going to owe and what you're going to get for it. So anyway, those are the major red flags that I would caution people to look out for when choosing an attorney. And remember, you don't usually just look at one thing and buy it right away. So do your due diligence. Go on avvo.com, avvo.com. You can research attorneys there. Once again, if they don't have a profile, you might want to rethink. Look at everything you can. Look at their website, look at their reviews. You can ask them for references. If people won't provide references, then that probably says a lot about, their confidence in their abilities. There should be no issue with that. They should have plenty of happy clients who are willing to vouch for them. Other attorneys, there should be plenty of attorneys that will vouch for them as well. And if there's not, then that is a red flag. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in to part 1, and let me know what you think or if you have other questions.